I reached out to Pete. First of all, I was like, man, I always just loved Pete Rock beats, and it was a dream as an MC to try to get a Pete Rock beat. You know, that's one of the that's like a milestone as a hip hop artist. When this beef was happening with Cube, when Ice Cube and the West Side Connection had dissed me, I'm a fan of Ice Cube, still am. So it was like, I was surprised and shocked, but then also had a little bit of like, wow, Cube know who I am. Some of that was there too. Yep. But then, you know, eventually I was like, man, I'm a warrior. So I'm like, yo, okay, you come at me, I'm gonna have to come back. Like on the mic, I gotta come back. So Pete just reminded me of this. Remembers I was rapping this verse. I wrote a verse already to like these instrumentals that I had. These was KRS-One instrumentals that he had put out. I wrote most of the first verse, and I remember rapping, and Q-Tip was like, yo, rap this beat on it. But nobody really was like willing to do a beat for it, really. I mean, a lot of people didn't want to get into it. Not that I went all around, but nobody was like, yeah, let me throw you this beat for this. And I just remember getting in tune with Pete, and it was like, yo, Pete said, what did you say? I was salty, man. I was mad.
Yeah, he was mad. I was trying to calm you down and drive you around town and meet people and take you to eat and just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you were angry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was salty. So, and being that, we went and we ended up going to his guy's crib, Robbo, and Pete started. Black Thought was with us too.
Yeah, he was.
Which was full circle, because he's now in the All Kind of Ideas video.
Yes.
He just told me, like, when I saw him at the Roots picnic out here, he was like, man, it was kind of like almost like full circle how we documented that video now.
Yep.
That moment,
Yep.
he remembers that moment when you made the bitch in you, and he was like always like, man, I wanted to be on that beat, but I was like, man, nah, this is mine. I had to go, you know, this is my war, so let me take care of it.
Yeah.
But that being said, Pete made that beat right there, and I just ended up writing the second verse, and I'm going to Green Street Studios, and Pete added the rest, you know, for your nation. Was that already?
Yep. The Raekwon.
The Raekwon, and that, you know, that was part of just some of my musical like journey, legacy, whatever, however you want to, you know, describe it. But you know, I'm glad we had that experience, and I'm glad that Cube and I was able to resolve it like
squash.
Good men, just on wax.
Yes.
I kind of forgotten that Farrakhan had intervened in that when you were talking about that story, and I was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no. Farrakhan, like, he understood, the Minister Farrakhan understood the power of our words. He understood how we could be puppets in this situation too. Or even if it is our true, like, feelings and we not feeling right about each other, he was like, really look at the situation and think, what are y'all warring about? What is the war about? And is this what you got into this business for? To get into a war, like to destroy each other? No. And it was just, he just got to the core, because Ice Cube is a real dude. He's a good brother. And myself, I love him, and I got love for it. And I ain't looking to destroy no human being, to be honest. So it was like, I'll destroy you on the mic, but I ain't gonna do it. You know? Yeah, so anyway, Farrakhan just got to our consciousness and our souls and our hearts as men, and we were like, man, what are we doing?
Yeah,
like, it's too much going on. Like, we have lost too many greats. So it was like, we're not getting caught up in that. We can't continue this.
Yeah, in some ways it's invigorating and creatively stimulating doing that, and then in the other way it's real.
Yeah,
it's a part of hip hop, you know, battling. So.
At the Bull show, you took out making money in LA. That I used to love. It's you changed the lyrics.
Oh, she probably get her money in LA.
You took that out, right?
No, I said that.
No, I think you took it out.
No.
It was like a DJ. You switched it.
I said no. I said I shout out, like I said, I might have failed to mention that this chick was creative. Once dude got to her, all to the native. Told her if she got an image and a gimmick, she can make money. On the 1 and 2s is dummy. I'm shouting out my DJ Dummy, so I just flipped the lyrics. It's no, like, I'm not politically afraid of anything that like what I used to love. Cause I knew.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Everybody knows.
that song. I felt like that song was you know, me just expressing truly how deep my love is for this art form, this music. So yeah, I mean, that's why initially I was kind of like, damn, I'm not dissing the West Coast, man. I mean, I'm talking about the evolution of hip hop, but why would I diss the West Coast? It's had a big influence on me too. You know, like these, in fact, specifically NWA, and whether it's Too Short and obviously Far Side, Souls of Mischief, Dale, like all them dudes. It was Threat, Cam, all them dudes. I listened to them, so I was like, man, Cube, Compton's Most Wanted, King T. I listened to all that.
Well, America's Most Wanted too. That album, and he made in New York with the Bomb Squad.
Yeah, that was
That
classic.
was my favorite Ice Cube album right there.
That joint that's monumental. That's one of the greatest albums.
It is.
Hip hop albums. Albums.
It is.
I've heard you say that your PE stuff is like stuff that you're most proud of. Like those,
Oh yeah. I mean, I used to watch them work in the studio. We used the same studio, and I was allowed to sit and watch them. You know, and I got inspired.
I love their evolution too. Like Chuck sort of doing his like sort of educational sort of like analysis stuff. And then Flav is like just still kind of being friends with everybody. Like
Well, I think that's one of the things that I have to say that as people who've come through hip hop, that we've learned how to expand to, like, in certain ways, like whether it is like education. I know it's like, I know Lupe Fiasco is a teacher at MIT, or, you know, people, honestly, me, like, as an actor, like this, I was able to expand in certain ways and you see like Styles P and them doing the health thing.
Juices for Life.
Juices for Life.
Shout out to the Locks.
Yeah, shout out to the Locks. And like, I love seeing like us take what we've known and came through and experiences that we have and take that into other realms of the world.
Right. Yeah. Second song was, did you reach out to him for that?
Which second song?
Verbal Murders too.
Oh.
Your second
Yeah, I
song
reached
together.
out to him for that. I had an idea.
About that?
Yeah, I had an idea to, you know, put him and Pun and Nori together. Yeah.
And that was, you know, the fact that Pete did that, like, man, I feel so grateful because I had a lot of love for Pun, a lot of love for Nori, and I had done a record with them, and like, it's the combination of, to me, of having that vision of like, yo, Common can rhyme with
such and such.
with Big Pun, and like, because some people wouldn't put us together, but that's just like, to me, his vision and his love for hip hop is like, man, this all of us. We all, these cats MC, this dude from Chicago, he from Queens, he from the Bronx.
Musical freedom is the most important thing to me in this business, you know, to be able to express yourself, you know what I'm saying? And so I always was saying like, man, imagine Pun and Nori and Common on a Pete Rock beat, and then we made it happen.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Watching that, the Drink Champs with Nori was so lovely, because he was just so excited about remembering that moment.
Yes, and he was saying how he was afraid, people were afraid of me. I'm like, for what? Like, because of the beats and how I'm adamant about how I need you to sound on it, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know.
Do you remain like that? Or
I have a very strong stance on those type of things, you know.
Yeah.
But with him, I really don't have to worry about that, you know what I'm saying? So we vets now. We know what we're doing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, like, I think because of his experience and because he is passionate, when he is telling me to do something, I'm going to pay attention, you know, because it's Pete Rock, and this is something he's been doing. Well, before I got in the game, he knows stuff that just the vast knowledge in his musicality. To me, you don't choose to do a whole album project with somebody as great as him and don't listen. You know, like, so I mean, I'm grateful that he was able to create the music that inspired me so I could just go into my zone.
Yeah.
But once I write what I'm about to write about, it's important that he like, okay, yeah, that works, or it doesn't work. Or maybe I might try this idea out to it. Or, you know, just calm it down a little bit on this track, because that to me it lends to a true collaboration, and iron sharpens iron. I feel like point blank, he elevated me, and I hope I elevated him.
Of course you did.
You know,
of course you did. I never felt better in my life doing this with you. So
good thanks, bro. Right here, me too. I'm like, yo, I couldn't believe, man, that in 2024 I was feeling this much joy in creating the music, and that I haven't been able to step away fully from it, but during the process of certain songs, I'm like, wait, this music, I'm really love this music. And I think that really is what we both wanted to go in doing. It's like, let's do the music we love. Let's not try to figure out what's going on in music now. What do people want from us from the past? Just where is Pete Rock and where am I right now? And where do we meet where it's like, yo, this is, oh, that's dope, that's dope. Because that's what it's about, really, like where his taste and sensibility is high level. He's been exposed to so much things in life, but so much music. Mm-hmm. So it's, the level of taste matters, and then to be able to create that is, to me, that's what God.
Well, that's the fun part for me. That's the fun part. They put me on a hip hop version of Name That Tune, I would ace it. For real.
Yeah,
remember that show?
Yeah, I love, like we was just at a record store at Amoeba, and you could just see, like, Pete, like, yo, that record, this came from this, and this record, like, yo, this is where Dilla used this. I'm like, man, it's just to have that type of information and knowledge, not even just for honestly, not even just for beat making. It's a sample, a song he sent me that he potentially thinking about sampling. Dude, I just play that joint in the shower. Like, I just like the joint. Like, I'm like, man, I just need to hear this music.
It's really like a test, like to send him the sample first before you make the beat and see if it has potential. And then that's how we get it done. For me, when it came to having that kind of a job at such a young age, I was very passionate about hip hop. I was very passionate about producers and the behind the scenes and who's making the music. That was always the thing with me, like, who made this? Like, how do I make something like that? And then I learned just from watching other people, and then it just graduated from there, But I love doing radio. I'm a DJ first, so, and then, I just picked up the producing by, I was with Heavy D was bringing me everywhere, like Howie T's house, Marley's house, Teddy Riley, I was soaking up everything I saw like a sponge.
And did Heavy sort of talk to you guys about money, the money side of it at that time, or was he just kind of like, hey, I'm introducing you?
Nope, not really. I took it. I didn't care. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't care about the money. I didn't get in it for the money. I got in it to represent the music and DJ and let people hear how good I was as a DJ.
That's the thing, because when you first brought up the financial thing, I was thinking like, man, I was not even thinking about financial. I just wanted, this was just a dream. I wanted to be heard. Like, I wanted people to know I could MC. I wanted to just make a video and like just make a record. Yeah. Like, to hear what hip hop is and was, like, to be able to be a part of that was the core. That was the 100% thing. And eventually, I did have a thought like, man, once you make a record, you get paid, but I wasn't really conceptualizing like how the business works or any of that, and it wasn't important to me, to be honest. And I don't think it really got important until I started putting out records and realizing, man, I don't know if I can pay my rent right now, and like, oh, I'm struggling to pay this, and wait, I'm about to have a child. I have to figure out like what this is. And at that time, my mother, who was, like, she got her own hustle to her. And one of the songs, I say, I don't know no hustler greater than my mama. Greater than my mama, right? That's just because I saw her working several jobs, making sure she created a nursery school where, with her friend and one of her best friends. And so I learned some business from her. And ironically enough, when I was going to high school, rap was my thing, rap, hip hop, and hooping. I love basketball. So, but I was a good student, and I thought I was going to go into business administration. But by the time I got in the music business, I was not thinking about the business. And I did read that book, All You Need to Know About the Music Business by Donald Fassman, but I really didn't like, I don't know, my artist brain just started just going. And I honestly don't feel like I really started to pay attention to the business aspects until I was like, man, I gotta take care of my family.
Until it comes
and
up to bite you.
Yeah, until it bit me. I was kind of in that hustle mode and just wanting to be better as an artist.
And the hustle mode being focused on art, not hustle mode focused on money.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, for me, when I said hustle mode, it was like, okay, well, I gotta pay this rent, or I gotta pay this mortgage. The one thing my mother did early was like, yo, man, when you make some money, get some property. Yeah. So I did get a building like in between my second album and going into the third. So that's where I lived rent free, but it was still, I gotta pay a mortgage. So that and you know, those things. So the hustle mode was like, okay, well, I got to get some shows to make sure that these things are taken care of. Because at the same token, just being real clear, I wasn't an artist that came out and sold a lot of records either. You know, it was just like I was building my name and gradually going up the mountain. But it was like, I don't know.
It's a slow grind, bro. It's a slow grind. And, you know, like, for me, the money was never important until, you know, it's important. You know what I'm saying? And so when it's important, that's when you start like, you know, like, oh, wow, okay. Then you got to put people in place to help you, you know, gather up what's owed to you or what's out there that, you know, that's outstanding, such and such. And, you know, learning about producer royalties, you know, and that's, you know, big deal. You know what I mean?
You know, one of the things that I look back on and, you know, think what would have helped us as musicians, as young musicians. And one of the things that I think would have been a union, like it seems, you know, kind of odd, union, but a union like just for healthcare, for like just like protection against some of those. Because I remember I had, you know, my first contract I signed, man, to be honest, I like skimmed through it. My lawyer, the lawyer I had was one of my friends' lawyers who, you know, I didn't really know how well if they were good lawyers. And it turned out like when I signed, it wasn't obviously a good contract. And then when it came down to some thickness happening where like this group was suing me for my name, I was hung out to dry because business-wise I hadn't had a team in place that was like, would defend me, be able to establish my label at the time. They were like, listen, they filed a cease and desist order. Either you're gonna change your name or we're gonna shelf your record. So I'm like, you know, that's when I started, like, it kind of smacked me. The business smacked me all at once.
Been there, bro.
Yeah.
And Pete, when was that? When did the business smack you?
It smacked me a few times. I mean, more than a few, because I was really, really, really into the art. Yeah. I was really, really into the creation part. I always thought that was so much fun, and then the business just ruined it for me. You know, because I didn't know anything. You understand what I'm saying? So it took me some years to get my together. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, here we are.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I feel like Pete and I both have learned is like, yo, we are artists. That's just at the core. Yeah. We're artists. Yeah. Like, so to be on top of the business is to put together a team too. That doesn't mean you're not going to you're going to be aware of what's going on, but you can't sit and like go through the cracks and the little micro things of the business and be the highest level artist that you need to be. Yeah, like you have to like learn to assemble people who, because I always use my concept of building a house. For me, it's like if I'm building a house, if I'm the master plumber, I want to get a master electrician. I want to get a master architect that's designing it. You know, the master person that's going to do the lawn. Right. You know, so sometimes you're not going to get a super dope creative artist and a very savvy businessman. Those things are not always. I can name a couple artists that I think of that. Jay-Z, maybe Kanye, like are really like just savvy with business, but still, and really great at marketing, but true artists too.
Yeah.
Yeah.